you came here to watch a video about preservation methods like canning, I think you might be in the right place. But speaking of place, I think that you might also be a can, because you're currently situated alongside a bunch of other cans, and you're looking ready to get pickled.
Hello, and welcome to the Wham Provides, where the food from plants and animals keeps us satisfied. We can grow it, find it, or catch it for dinner. Come and learn how to get it from a pro to beginner.
I like to grow an attachment to my food before ultimately consuming it because, well, I think bonded plants taste better. It's not weird. You're making it weird. I get so attached to my plants that I figured out ways to continue enjoying them long into the winter after they've died. So in this video, I'm going to break down just a few of the ways that I continue living off of my garden into the fall, winter, and spring months. And make sure you stick around till the end of the video where I share one of my tips that has me eating fresh produce months before and after my first and last frost dates. The quickest and least sophisticated preservation method that I use is freezing. Just chop, bag, label, and forget. When stored in the freezer, vegetables can last anywhere between 8 to 12 months, significantly outlasting their refrigerator counterparts, which typically only stay fresh for like 1 to 2 weeks. By extending our preservation periods, we not only reduce our food waste, but we also are able to pick our veggies at their peak ripeness, freeze them in that state, and continue to enjoy that peak flavor throughout the whole season. One of the biggest arguments against freezing is that people say that it leads to a loss of nutrients, but a lot of studies show that it's only 10 to 20% nutrient loss, and most vitamins and minerals actually remain intact in the freezing process. I don't really sweat the nutrient loss though, because the way that I look at it is that while I may be losing 10 to 20% by freezing, I feel like I'm facing much more nutrient loss by buying groceries from the store that have spent weeks in transit and therefore lost their nutrient capacity because they've been off the vine or they've been off the tree for that amount of time. When we pick our garden vegetables, we're picking them at peak ripeness. Whereas when a distributor or a farmer picks their vegetables, they're picking them before peak ripeness so that when they ship them, they're hitting peak ripeness by the time they hit the store. So you're actually not getting the full amount of nutrients and the full ripeness that you would get on the plant if you had just grabbed it from your garden. Tomatoes are awesome for freezing because you can squeeze out the majority of the air in the bag, preventing them from getting freezer burn and extending their storage life. I also freeze peppers, berries, beans, and seeds. Next up is dehydrating. We added this dehydrator here to our preservation kit last year, and while we haven't used it a ton, it certainly has come in super handy for veggies that are kind of hitting an abundance period in the garden, and we just want to get them inside and get them stored or used quickly, but we're not really able to eat them quite yet. So last year for us, we had an abundance of peppers and we had an abundance of herbs. So those were two things that we could quickly pop in this bad boy and just kind of let them dehydrate in the background while we focused on doing other tasks around the garden. This year we made our own cayenne and chili powder, and I've got to say that the flavor and spice level we're getting from doing it ourselves far trumps anything I've ever bought from the store. Taste aside, the dehydrator is an awesome tool in the arsenal for plants that are on their way out or about to be hit by a frost as a last-ditch effort to maximize my harvest from them. So if I know that there's going to be a major freeze that's going to come up and kind of decimate everything, I'm going to quickly yank some of those plants out, throw them in the dehydrator, freeze them, eat them, whatever I can before that frost date. So the dehydrator is awesome because it allows me to take something, dehydrate them down into a powder, and continue enjoying those flavors well into the winter. And while we're on the topic of dehydrating, I guess curing is also a form of dehydrating, albeit a very slow one. But instead of buying some electronic thingamajig to zap the moisture out of whatever you're trying to dehydrate, you're just gonna let the sun or a bunch of salt do the work for you. I cure beans, pumpkins, squashes, garlic, onions, and a bunch of other stuff in order to extend their storage life. My pumpkins and squash are kept inside the shed facing the sun all day, which hardens their skin and makes them impervious to attack by organisms that cause decay. These are known as winter squash and can last like 6 months or longer if stored correctly. Garlic and onions, on the other hand, are kept out of direct sunlight and in a cool and shady area. Garlic lasts a similar amount of time, and onions last about 2 or 3 months for me. Beans are the king when it comes to shelf life and preservation time, because once they're dried out, you can throw them in the freezer and they will last like years. As long as that freezer's on, they're probably going to be good. This is so bomb. Last, but certainly not least, is undoubtedly the sexiest form of preservation, and that's canning. I mean, who doesn't love staring at a big ol' set of cans? Pickles, tomato sauce, hot sauce, salsa. Ooh, salsa! You can't forget about the salsa. think I like canning the most because it simply leads to a flavor that you cannot recreate with any of these other preservation methods. The combination of time plus acidity is just pure magic. Glass jars stuffed full of your favorite veggies offer these little glass windows into the long-forgotten splendors of the summer garden. My process for canning could not be more simple. Step 1, harvest. Step 2, chop. Step 3, make and boil the brine. I like to use pickling salt and vinegar to boost the acidity and keep it shelf stable for a while. Step 4, insert veggies into the jars and pour the brine in. Step 5, place the lids on the jars and seal them by putting them in a water bath or pressure canning. Step 6, enjoy. Alrighty, well, if you've made it this far into the video, then I've got a little bonus preservation method for you, and that's this guy right here. This is a winterized hoop house. Do you like growing food but also live in Canada? Well, lucky for you, I have made a video today where you can learn how to grow it in Canada. A hoop house is basically a DIY greenhouse that you can build without being a woodworker or a craftsperson. As you guys know, I'm not a carpenter. I do not work with wood for a living. I work with wood for fun. Last winter I built one on top of a raised bed so that I could open it or close it depending on the outside temperatures. You see, the thing about all those other tutorials on YouTube that show you how to do things the right way is that they miss out on cool opportunities to create creative things like this. Look at that. Wow. All right. Oh. Nice. All right, well, I guess we're done. So, having this little hoop house meant that I could start my tomato seedlings a month earlier this spring, and this fall, it meant that I could keep my peppers going for an extra 2 months. During the fall, winter, and spring months, I keep it closed most of the time, which raises the ambient temperature inside by about 3 degrees. That might not sound like a whole lot, but those 3 degrees can be the difference between losing your crop or not. So to summarize today's video, 1, bonded plants taste better. 2, freezing veggies is so dang easy that there is no excuse not to do it. 3, homemade spices and herbs in the dehydrator are A1. It's a super cheap way to add some preservation capacity to your arsenal, so start dehydrating. 4, everyone loves cans and jars. They're interchangeable. You can say both. 5, if I can build a hoop house, you definitely can. And 6, I don't have a 6. Or do I? Get out here.